All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast. Now, following his big and dominating win this past Saturday at Wembley Stadium, which was a 6 round TKO over Dillian White, Tyson Fury has decided to call it a career. Now, in 33 professional fights, Fury never tasted defeat as he had 32 wins and, of course, one draw. Now, if this is truly it for Fury, he'll always be remembered as the man that ended the reign of Vladimir Klitschko as the heavyweight champion. It was a 22 fight win streak, and of course, Klitschko lost that bout, and then he followed that out, followed that up rather with a loss against Anthony Joshua, and then he stepped away from the sport of boxing for good. You think about Tyson Fury and you think about the trilogy that he had with one Deontay Wilder. Of course, they had their first bout in December of 2018. And it was a situation we all remembered that epic 12th round where Wilder dropped Fury, and Wilder hit Fury probably as hard as he could hit anyone, and he, like a lot of people in attendance as well as watching at their homes or bars wherever, thought that fight was over. Fury got up. He was able to finish off the fight strong. We saw a draw, but from that point, Fury felt like, you know what, I took Wilder's best punch and let me go out there and train harder, come in better physical condition for the rematch. And that was the case because you go back to February 2020 when these two fought in a rematch, and it was a more motivated Fury in that contest, came in much better physical condition. He dominated Wilder for the TKO victory in the seventh round. And then, of course, they had their third fight in October of last year. And once again, it was the same case. This time, Fury stopped Wilder with an 11th round knockout. But nonetheless, those are like some of the highs of his career. Like, if this is it, never having to fight with Anthony Joshua, that's going to be a big thing because you had two guys from England that from the UK that a lot of people wanted them to see get it on, and that was never the case. Of course, we never got to see Anthony Joshua fight Deontay Wilder either at this point. So we're just left to see what could have been, but nonetheless, it is no fault of Fury's, especially after it looked like he was going to be able to get the fight with Anthony Joshua. And then, of course, Wilder exercised his rematch clause, and that threw, that fight with Joshua up in the air. And of course, it never happened. But just thinking about Tyson Fury and at 6'9", it was so tough for any of his opponents to get the best of him due to his awesome length and, of course, that reach. And on top of that, Fury had power. This was a very big man, but he also had deceptive speed. Klitschko found that out. Wilder found that out as well. And for the most part, all of his opponents, had to deal with that. He's deceptively fast. He already had the strength, and that right there is a dangerous combination when you're stepping inside of the boxing ring. You think about Fury, you think about the time that he took off to deal with some personal issues and then returning to recapture the glory. And I think the time away really helped Tyson Fury to come back and first and foremost become a better person for himself, but then also to come back and become a better fighter. And you saw a very motivated man out there in the ring. You saw how dedicated he was to his training, and then also how dedicated he became to the sport. And you look at Fury, and granted, this heavyweight era is not as dominant of a heavyweight era that we might have seen 50 years ago, but he still gets his glory because the fact is, number one, you don't apologize for winning. He took care of business with, for the most part, with everybody that he got in the ring with. And then on top of that, to step out of there with an unblemished record, that is something that is very phenomenal right there. So, your hat's off to him. I personally don't think this is it for him. He's 33 years of age. I'm not going to shut the door on him coming back. You never know. Maybe 2, 3 years down the line, if he gets the itch to come back into the ring, and of course, money talks, we'll have to wait and see. But nonetheless, if this is truly it for Tyson Fury, totally unapologetic, he owes nobody anything. He left it all out there. Walking out with an unblemished record as a heavyweight champion of the world is not an easy feat. So if he is truly ready to ride off into the sunset and call it a career for boxing, it has been one hell of a ride for Mr. Fury. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.